Ohtani hammers it to dead center. This ball heading back. It is gone. A home run. A leadoff home run, the 28th of his career. Ohtani makes it 1-0 with the third career home run off of Tomoyuki Sugano. 3-2 pitch, wave and a miss, strike three. Way out in front of the sweeper was Rumfield, and Ohtani has his 7th strikeout.
Just way too many walks. And of course you want to avoid the hits, but the result of that was a lot of walks today, and that's something that I just don't really want to do.
Well, you heard Dodgers radio there on the call, and then, of course, Shohei Ohtani's interpreter, Will Arrington, who I apparently am going to have to call and tell Will he needs to get into Shohei because this kind of stuff can't happen. You know, it's just, I'm sorry. I expect the best every single day out of Shohei Ohtani, and if you're going to walk 4 guys and not give up getting, how dare you? I mean, okay, seriously, what else can this guy do that continues to raise eyebrows? Like, at what point do we run out of fun things to talk about with Shohei Ohtani and we're like, oh my God, he just did this today. Oh my goodness, he just did this today. At some point that time's going to come where we're going to run out of those things and we're going to be like, all right, man, who cares about this guy? I want the next guy. That time is not now though, because he is back. He's in, full health, which I think is the most important part if you're a Dodger fan and if you're Dave Roberts. They've done a fantastic job, a magical job of navigating what has been, it's the most unique situation in baseball. And we've done a good job of explaining that here on this channel, for the last 10 plus years since he's been in the league. But the Dodgers have done a great job of managing the workload that it takes from an offensive side of things, because we know what he's capable of doing. He's the MVP, 3 or 4 times running now. The only thing left in his trophy case that he doesn't have right now, besides, he's got a WBC trophy, he's got World Series trophies, he's got World Series MVPs, he's got MVPs. He just doesn't have a Cy Young award. So if that's something he truly does want to go for, expect to see the Dodgers be very much more aggressive with how they continue to push Shohei Ohtani going forward, and maybe paring him back a little bit from the offensive side of things. We just saw him come off a run where he didn't play, from the offensive side of things in a couple of starts in a row. I wonder if we don't see something like that going forward.
And interestingly, in each of the last 2 games in which he started, where he did hit, he homered his first time up. This time at home, where he went out there, pitched the first inning, didn't go in the dugout, dropped his glove, his hat, grabbed the batting gloves, his bat, went in the batter's box and homered. I mean, it's unbelievable. But I think what we heard from both Garrett Cole, who was dominating for 6 2/3 innings, what we heard from Ohtani, who had 6 no-hit innings, is that it wasn't good enough. And that explains the greatness, that willingness and desire to take what was everybody else's standard was a phenomenal, great start, and find where you need to get better. And that's that drive that those superstars have, and keep on pushing. All right, we round third, head home with a home run. And so Shohei Ohtani had a no-hitter through 6. Well, the St. Louis Cardinals starting pitcher Dustin May, former Dodger, had a no-hitter through 7. No-hitter through 7 against the Milwaukee Brewers, one of the best teams in the National League, and he ended up losing the game.
And the next delivery is a called strike 3 on the inside corner, and a 1-2-3 inning for Dustin May. He has been outstanding, and I mean outstanding, here this afternoon.
It was a good game. Our guy pitched really, really well. We knew we were going to need more than one to take this, but overall, I liked the way we played on the wrong side of it, but competition was good.
Glove by Winnie, bobbled it, everybody's safe. Down the line and scoring is Frelick. Jackson Churio put it in play, and Mason Wynn, who's been a star defensively all series long, commits an error, and the Brewers take a 2-1 lead.
And, our pitching staff, you can't underestimate what they did in this series, and Patrick jumping back in the front end, giving us 4 innings, Drowan giving us 2. Ash, what can you say? And McGill getting back to where he's been before. It was great.
Well, to say that there's been maybe some fireworks in this series might be an understatement, as these 2 teams will continue to play a lot of games against each other, as they are major division rivals. And with the Cardinals, surprising a lot of people so far this season, I think we're in for a very fun summer to come, between Milwaukee and St. Louis there. But to me, the story is Dustin May. came into this game with a 5 ERA, really hasn't had a healthy shake at things since he's come from the Los Angeles Dodgers. And I think we're starting to hopefully see him maybe turn that corner from a health standpoint. There's no denying the stuff. He has no-hit stuff. I mean, he no-hit the Brewers, which is a very pesky offense, for 7 innings. And then all of a sudden, bam, leadoff double, an infield single, and an error. And you're talking about losing a game, which you came into the 8th inning no hitting a team. And all of a sudden, you're losing the game. We just saw it with the Angels and the Athletics here, just a week ago, where they went into the 9th inning with a 1-0 lead, and all of a sudden, bam, next thing you know, you lose the game. It's crazy how baseball works. But Dustin May certainly looked good. It's unfortunate he wasn't able to finish the job. That's the one thing, though, with all the good that he did and all the good that this entire offense did, that's what they're going to hang their hat on, is the fact that they weren't able to close a game out where they were no-hitting a team into the 8th inning.
Yeah, I think the other amazing thing is the winning pitcher in this game was Aaron Ashby. He's a reliever. He's 9-0. He's 9-0 on the season as a reliever. And in the first 55 games, he has 9. They have 33 wins. He has 9 of them. And
who says
he's just been in the right spot. He's a vulture is what he is. He feeds off of, he snatches victories out of starters' hands. And he's always the guy in the right spot when the offense comes back. Got 9 wins on the season as a reliever. I think the last guy to do that was one of the first players who became a full-time reliever back in 1938. And so in the first 55 games of a season. So for Ashby, he's been in the right spot. And all he can do is smile and say, thank you very much. And we all know that wins are a byproduct of the team. But if I'm his agent, I'm like, I can't wait to go to arbitration. We got 9 wins so far. Keep it going, big guy. 9 wins. He could be a 20-game winner out of the bullpen, which could be amazing there. All right, we're going to come back. We're going to visit and talk a little Brewers baseball. We'll get the perspective of Vinny Rotino, broadcaster for the Brewers television broadcast, get his perspective on not only Aaron Ashby being a vulture, but how in the heck this team does it. And we'll have him replicate Abner Uribe's actions after his inning pitch the other day as well. All of that and more next in the Welcome in to the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio and now live simulcast on MLB Network TV as well. Chris Jimin is in the house today. Steve Phillips here as well. We're certainly glad to have all of you on board. We always kick off the 9 o'clock hour by taking you around the bases, hitting on the top stories of the day. So the single is Christopher Sanchez and the Philadelphia Phillies dominating the San Diego Padres.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Sanchez ready. He kicks and the pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him. And pounding his fist into his mitt, Christopher Sanchez puts up another scoreless inning. It's 7 scoreless today.
I mean, it feels great, honestly, but it feels really good to do that. But we're still focused on performing every 5 days. This is not over yet, so we just focus on keep on doing the best that we can every 5 days.
Well, you heard the great Scott Fransky of Phillies radio there, and then Diego Dianello, the interpreter for the Phillies as well, talk about Christopher Sanchez and how unbelievably good he actually has. I don't think we give enough credit, Steve, to how good Christopher Sanchez actually has been. We're talking 44 innings of not giving up a run. That's really good, first and foremost. But this is a dude that is in complete control of every single game that he steps foot on. That mound, absolute and complete, utter control of what's going on. The changeup is a real thing. I mean, he's developed that into being an absolute weapon. He throws just hard enough that the speed separation between the fastball and the changeup are absolutely elite. He throws just enough breaking balls that it keeps it in your head as a hitter that, oh, wow, if he shakes, he shakes. Is that the breaking ball? He is unbelievably good right now. He's on another level. And I don't know if we've seen a pitcher go on a run like this in quite some time. And you and I talked about this earlier in the show. we're talking about Oral Hershiser's record within reach, which seems like a crazy about because what was it, 59 innings, scoreless innings? Like that's absolutely insane to think about. He's at 44 and 2/3 right now. That's a couple more starts of 0 runs, which right now is absolutely in his wheelhouse.
So he passed Grover Cleveland Alexander. So when you pass somebody whose picture's in black and white, you know you've done something, right? That is 115 years. That record sat there at 41 consecutive scoreless innings until Christopher Sanchez passed him there. And then Hooks Wiltz, who was in the next graphic we had up with the long-term one. We had that one, Hooks.
Great name.
Again, he definitely threw curveballs, right? I mean, he had to be a curveball pitcher. The lowest ERA in a calendar month. I mean, zeros across the board. Dwight Gooden was so dominant back in '85. My goodness, former minor league teammate of mine. But Hooks Wiltz, also a former minor league teammate of mine, back in May of 1912, he was fantastic that month, as I recall. But I mean, what Christopher Sanchez doing, and how astute were they to extend him in the contract, right? They extended him and then they extended him.
Great call.
But he's going to be making through 2032. He's going to make $27 million a year, which again is going to be a bargain for what aces are going for by the time we get there, whether there's a salary cap or not. This is an outstanding contract. And remember, his 1.47 is leading right now among qualified starting pitchers. Now, what's interesting about that is that Shohei Ohtani, who we'll talk about this morning, is not yet qualified. They've played 56 games, and he's pitched 55 innings. And so he's not a qualified starting pitcher, although his ERA is about half of where Sanchez is right now. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right, we want first go to second with the double. And how about Garrett Cole making his second start back from Tommy John surgery, and he looked like vintage Garrett Cole.
Next pitch, fastball, strike 3 called. Got him looking. 10 strikeouts, Garrett Cole, as we play here in the 6th in a 2-0 Yankee lead.
I mean, there's still stuff to work on. In general, we moved the ball around the strike zone well tonight. Sometimes maybe didn't quite get through some of the fastballs as well as we could have. So there's still some stuff to work on, absolutely, going forward. But you know, with what we had tonight, I thought we used it really well.
It was fun to watch that. I feel like maybe the first game was a little appetizer, and that was the main course right there. That was surgical, command. You saw everything too, like good fastball, both breaking balls going, mixed in the cutter a little bit, mixed in some really good change-ups along the way.
Well, I will say this, sign me up for a 5-course meal, because if that's what it looks like from an appetizer standpoint in the first course, it's only going to get better from there. You know, Garrett Cole is one of, if not the best pitcher in Major League Baseball when he's healthy. And it certainly seems like he's healthy. He's out there. Again, small sample size, you heard him talk about that. And I guess when you're as good as he is, you know, you start tinkering a little bit, like, I got to get through this fastball just a little bit better. But when you punch out 10 Royals and you give up 0 runs in 6 innings and you throw 79 pitches doing it, there's not much more to get better at after that. That's about as good as it possibly gets. And to me, you're starting to see, you know, again, second start out, which I get it. You are still probably tinkering with things, but when you look at the health standpoint, right? When you look at how he's getting behind some of these fastballs, how he's able to spin or torque or wrench these breaking balls. The first outing against Tampa Bay, I was really interested to see how would he utilize the curveball? How would he utilize the slider? What counts? What situations? How would he actually get behind it from an intent standpoint? He passed the test on that one. Now he goes out there and he's just tinkering with stuff, and he's toying with Royals, which is a bad thing for the rest of baseball, because this dude's here, and this rotation somehow, some way got even better with Garrett Cole now being healthy and in it.
You know, it's interesting because when Cole said, you know, with the stuff we had today, I thought we used it pretty well. It made me think about, you remember the TV show Sybil, the movie Sybil, where she had like 16 different personalities? And I thought about that in a way, and I'm curious from your point as a catcher, that when the same pitcher goes out there in 16 different starts, he might be 16 different pitchers
sure.
in each game, right? That he's not the same guy. Like on a given day, his fastball velocity might not be there, but if the velocity's there, maybe the command's not there. He may have a feel for this curveball, but not the curveball. The sweeper may be it's interesting that every pitcher, when he goes out there, is different than who he was the last time he was out. And as a catcher, I'm curious how you experience that and how then you take that into play managing a game.
That's the fun part about catching, is knowing what that guy has on that specific day. Yeah, you can create a game plan and, you do your homework, you do all your research, but the third or fourth pitch in that game, you could realize real quick, okay, we don't have this particular pitch or this type of location, at least this early on. Not that you can just completely get rid of it, but you have to find ways to work that back in, but you have to be malleable. And I think that's kind of the situation you're talking about right now. As a good catcher, in my mind, uses his eyes and uses his feel for the game to understand when a guy has it and when he doesn't, and how can you utilize what he does have that day to ultimately get the job done. And when you have type of stuff that Garrett Cole has, it's probably pretty easy. Like, I would be smiling a lot if I got to catch Garrett Cole on an every fifth day basis, because, even on his C or D day, it's still better than 95% of the rest of Major League Baseball. So on his worst day of any start, yeah, he's going to give up maybe a couple of homers, because if he's going to give up damage, that's what's going to happen. But you're still going to have fun going out there trying to make it work with the type of stuff he has that particular day.
So it turned out to a 7-0 win yesterday for the Yankees over Noah Cameron and the Kansas City Royals. They've beaten them up pretty hard over the last 2 days. And it was interesting that Aaron Boone had his right-hand hitting lineup in there. And it was the left-handers. Ryan McMahon homered, and Ben Rice drove in 3 runs. They ended up getting the job done. Oh, wait, around second to go to third for the triple. And this is the Shohei Ohtani part of the show. Shohei Ohtani, believe it or not, believed that his 6 no-hit innings and his home run to lead off the game was a bad day.